Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Well, we are at the beginning of a brand new year, and a lot of us have things we want to get accomplished, hopes, goals. I'm going to say the word resolutions. How's it working for you? What are you thinking right now? What is on your mind with looking at the year ahead? Are you in creative mode? Are you in survival mode? What are they? Game changers once you harness the power of either and or understand. We're going to learn more from him. He is an amazing coach, helping people, president of a company called Masternomics. And I can't think of a better way to start 25 than with Martin Glin back on the program. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm excited. You know, this new year has me pumped and just ready to keep pushing forward and helping people make their dreams become a reality.
So when I knew that we were going to talk about creative mode and survival mode,
yeah,
I wondered what they were. I'm still not 100% sure. I'm thinking about it. I have an idea what they may be, but let's go right there. Let's define them.
Yeah. So it's like this. We're doing one or the other all the time. So we're either creating something or we're existing and surviving. So on an everyday level, everyday thinking, everyday people, most people are in survival mode. And survival mode means I'm just trying to survive, literally. In a regular job setting or 9-to-5 setting, most humans on the planet are surviving. That means they're living from paycheck to paycheck. They can't see past the paycheck. Literally, they can't see any form of investment. So if you're not investing in anything, delaying some gratification, you're literally in survival. So if we think of how the animal kingdom works, animals have basic instinct and then they survive, right? So they hunt, get their food, and that's it. Right? And so humans, we're designed to create. We are designed to create our reality. How do we know this? Because we have a mind, we have an imagination. We have things that animals don't have. But most of us live on a survival aspect, and we let people outside of us dictate, our income, our choices in life, and therefore you're just surviving and you're waiting for someone else to do something for you. So that's why I teach entrepreneurship from a creation perspective, to where you can change your economic situation, no matter what the forecast may be for this new year, no matter what your political views are, no matter any of the things outside of you. You don't have to just survive, whether you like this guy or you like that person or whoever your boss is. You're not forced to just survive and deal with outside sources. You have a creative ability. So that's the difference, creation and survival.
How do you get past the being afraid to get out of your own way? For example, and I love what you just said, relying on somebody else, your boss, whether you like them or not, they're your boss. Mm-hmm. They've kind of dictated your future in unless you're a part owner, but let's say your salary. All right. Yeah. Salary's defined. You're thinking to yourself, man, I'm worth more. I know I'm worth a lot more, but you're afraid to rock the boat. A lot of us just like to stay off the radar, and then nothing changes there. How do you flip the mindset to start moving forward in terms of creation?
Right. So it's very simple, but we make it hard. So but that's a great question the way you asked it. Most people say, well, I have a boss, and no matter what, he's my boss. Well, the universe doesn't work like that. The universe works by definite demands, right? Definite, precise demands. So if I'm working for someone, and realize this, you're not a slave, they're not a slave master. So therefore, it's a business relationship. Whether you're working, if your boss is not your business partner, it's still based on performance and it's based on an agreement. So if I want to get more money out of this job or a better position, the one thing that I can control is I can do more than what's asked of me. So therefore, if our agreement is XYZ and then I get paid X amount of dollars per hour, right? If I just stick to the letter of that, I will always get exactly the match of it. But if the job description has 10 points on it and I end up doing 12 and 15, my boss, my employee sees that. And so it's just no different than what we do with our children. When they do more than what we ask of them, we're very proud and we're very happy. And then we say, you know what, you've shown responsibility. You know, I don't know if you deserve to get a dog or a cat as a pet, right? So it's no different than what we have to do in our everyday lives. We have to show value and do more than what's asked of us. Then we get more than what we've agreed upon, right? So the universe works by definite demand. So, but what we have to do is we have to demand more. How do you demand more? You decide what you want and you proclaim it and you're demanding that it will be yours. You claim it, but your actions have to match your thoughts. And a lot of times we complain about, our income, we complain about our boss, but complaining is not doing it. Your performance will show what you're worthy of. So the reality is, some guy didn't just knock on your door and say, come work for me. You reached out, you applied, you show forth your power, right? You got creative because you wanted to create a more income for yourself. But when we get jobs, we get stuck and then we just start surviving. And then we find out, well, we don't relate with our boss on some level. And then we dwell and we focus on what we don't like about the person as opposed to focus on what you can control.
I love what you said, all of that. But one thing that really stands out is your relationship with your employer. It seems we should view it as we're vendors. We're providing a service. You're paying for a service. Your boss is paying for a service, as opposed to you feeling, indentured. Like, oh, I need this job. Like, I'm not going to rock the boat. If you're doing, a good job or above and beyond, and you feel it and you're aware of it, they hired you. It's like you're a separate company, and they hired you, and that you're providing a service. But you've gone above and beyond to pay for that service. You need to pay more if you want to get that service.
Right.
That's what it's. I've never viewed it that way because we feel like I'm like you said, slaves. We look at it that way.
Right. We look at it the wrong way because what we do is we forget you are the main ingredient, right? It's kind of like a plant. You have a lot of people working there, but what most people, they have adopted the mindset of they control the situation. We have no power. Well, what humans did, we formed unions, and then we said, you know what, hold on. This industry can't move without us. Right. Now, we understand you made the investment, you're the business owner, but now, inflation has come, our wages need to change, right? So that is acknowledging that you have power in whatever you're doing. And so when I'm always talking about entrepreneurship, business creation, doing something, creating other streams of income, it's getting creative. Right. So creativity comes a lot of times because of the things we don't like or the things we're dissatisfied with. But that dissatisfaction is a creative state. So, they say, well, necessity is the mother of invention. Well, dissatisfaction is the key to creativity because, we live in the greatest country on the world, and it was created because the founding fathers, they were dissatisfied we were tired of paying too much taxes. So that dissatisfaction say, look, we got to create something that would benefit us and benefit, us in the future. And that's how everyday people should attack entrepreneurship, not how the billionaire, because when we look at people who have billions of dollars, we think, oh, that's so far from us. But at the end of the day, they're humans that just got creative and they use whatever they had.
Let's go in creation mode. And let's say you're about to launch a business or you have an idea for one, and you've seen it done before. So it can work, but it's yours. Let's be honest. Nothing's original. I think,
right.
If we whittle it down, it's all been done before. But let's say you've got a different spin on this business idea and you've got everything in order and you're basically your plane's on the runway. Yeah, you haven't taken off yet, but you're about to.
Right.
What can you think? What can you change your mindset to make sure it becomes successful?
Well,
I know I'm going deep, jumping down a rabbit hole, but I think
yeah.
it's a new year, and a lot of people are. Hey, the sun just came out. A lot of people are, maybe thinking that. I need to make a change. How do I make that change? How do I make it a successful change?
Right. So if you're saying, you made this decision and you're at that point of taking off, right?
Yep.
Well, the reality is your success started once you made the decision. So if you hold the fact that, I love the Earl Nightingale, his definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So if you once you made that decision, right, and you said, I'm going to be successful because I'm going to be a podcast. I'm going to be successful because I'm going to start whatever business, the haircutting business, the salon, whatever it is. Once you made that decision, you say, is this idea worthy? Is it worthy? What do you mean? Is it worthy of me sacrificing my time? Is it worthy of me missing more sleep? I might not get 80 hours of sleep. Is it worthy? Yes, it's worthy, right? Now, I have a worthy idea, but then I have to progressively realize it. What that means is, I realize now I want to do it. So I form my business, I do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it has to be progressive. It has to be consistency, right? So what we have to do is we have to just stay focused on our vision of success, right? And if it is truly worthy, if you focus on it every single day, then you will make moves every single day to get towards that goal. Then what happens is you'll find the goalpost moves because you scored a touchdown, right? Now it might have took you 2 years, right? But now the business is making the amount of money you always wanted to make. So then what happens is your version of success grows because now, wow, I actually made $10,000 in this side business, right? So now we have to grow and scale it. So it has to be progressive.
Do you believe that what we think becomes our reality?
Without a doubt. That is our ability. I think it's written in the Bible. As a man thinketh, so shall he be. When you think about it, a lot of people we don't want to accept that because we know a lot of our thoughts are junk and garbage. And when you look at successful people, it's not that they don't have these depleting thoughts that all of us have sometimes. I'm too tired. Oh, it might not. It's not that those thoughts don't come in. They don't give power and life to it. So what happens is we all have thoughts. And when I tell people about meditation, I teach them about meditation. I say, when you first start, you're going to get all types of thoughts in it. But what happens, most of us gravitate to what we're familiar with, those familiar thoughts. And those familiar thoughts say, I could just stick with my job. Oh, I don't want to risk it. Right. And so those thoughts literally become your reality. You live a life of, you say, playing it safe, not risking it. And that becomes your reality. You become a person that will sit on the porch, and you wait until, your best years, so to speak, are past. And you say, well, I could have done that. I you know what? 20 years ago, I had a chance to do that. And then you're talking to people and they look at you like, wow, you just played it safe here because that was your thinking. Right. So yes, our thoughts, without a doubt, become our reality. We're just a composition of our thoughts.
So it sounds like it would be 100% times 100 reasonable to think I'm starting a business. It's going to succeed. I got a good feeling, man. And to think that thought is real as opposed to, I'm just saying these words just because it sounds good. No, man, this is going to succeed. I'm feeling it. Like, there's nothing that says why it shouldn't. There's a reason I'm doing it because I'm perfect for it and I have a great idea. And just keep pushing those thoughts forward. And like you said, every day you're a step closer. So many of us want to get from here to here in a very short period of time. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
Right. And you know what? The thing is that, like I always tell people, understand what delayed gratification is. So when you see the most successful people or that we see as successful, we look at it in a monetary aspect, right? And a lot of people that say, man, look, I started from the bottom. Well, if somebody literally started from the bottom and now they're here financially, right, they understood delayed gratification. What that means is I understand I'm able to delay, being able to spend, $20,000, $50,000 at one time. I might really want to do that, but I understand it's a process in that. I will get there. But if I'm mentally strong and I focus on what I want and I don't need just a gratification right here and right now, then I'm going to have more than the average person.
Is there ever a reason to be in survival mode? Do we have to be in survival mode? Yes, we're all surviving. We're doing what we need to pay the rent, make sure our families are taken care of. Do we have to be in that mode?
No, we can live in a creative state. And if you are always living in a creative state, then you will always be creating the reality that you want. Now, I know some people might hear that and say, well, I mean, there's some stuff we can't control. If such and such happens, a bomb or some crazy event happens. Yes, that's true. But how you approach the situation determines how you're living. So in other words, we know there are things outside of us that happen, right? But how do I look at it? Do I look at it as opportunity, or do I look at it like, oh, it is what it is? It's just, I just have to accept it. Successful people are always looking at things and saying, how can I shift this to better myself? So if you realize you have that ability, no matter what, when, our living conditions, pandemic things happen, creative people just created other ways to live, and that's how we have to do. So we have to always live in creative mode. We were created, so we must create.
we could just end this podcast right on that point. It's the truth. Yeah. And I'm getting flashes and thoughts in my mind based on what we're talking about. And it seems wrong to just be in survival mode because, again, we're doing it anyway. You are surviving because you're working, you're taking care of yourself, or should be, reasonably. Yeah. And I can tell you, Martin, first off, I used to be in survival mode. And here's the crazy part. But this was my mindset in another life. I didn't need to be in survival mode.
Right.
I was in a mode of working that, I'm creating a little bit here and there, but I would worry about things. Like, what if this goes away? And then, less money. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Right.
There was no reason to even think that. There was no hint of, we could have a problem over here. DEFCON 3 working its way.
Yeah.
It was wrong until I realized it. And honestly, everything's a lesson. I get it.
Yeah.
I regret it.
Yes.
I regret it because
likewise. We all go through it. We could talk for a whole hour.
I feel better now.
Yeah. No, likewise. Yeah.
It's and I go back to things my mom said, and maybe we talked about this. As I get older, I realize all those things were actually true. But when you're younger, you're like, what do you know? You're old.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm old.
Yeah. And there's a saying that I adopted and I live by. Most of what we worry about never happens.
That was my game changer right there. And it truly was. And guess what? They've done research on it. They've done surveys.
That's right.
It's like 93% of the things that we worry about never
happen. Yeah. We give our attention to it, and then we live in a fear zone. And guess what? Time goes by, and then 20 years pass, and you say, dang it, I was afraid of nothing.
Right. And my mom always used to say a couple of things, but she said applies to everything you're saying today. It always works out. That your job situation, you get worried. I get it.
Right.
But in the end, it always works out. And then, when we're talking about working for somebody and changing your view of them, she always used to say, if you let them, they will.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
You give them a little bit. Let me work a little bit harder. Let me do above and beyond what I'm supposed to. And that's all good to demonstrate your value. But then again, why do you have to keep doing that? There's probably a reason why you feel the need to feel more important. It's probably something within you.
It's something within.
A limiting belief. Yeah.
It's a limiting belief. And, the thing is, we always have to remember we are the author of our life. You're writing your story. It's not pre-written, literally. And some people hear it and say, oh, that sounds good. It's a reality.
It is.
Right? You can do what you want to do. How well you do it is going to be based on you. And most people in their job performance, right, the people that make the most money, they do more than the average person. But yes, most people live in survival mode and they're not living in a creative state. But like I said, we were created, thus we must create, right? And so if you are a creation and you have the ability to create, you can paint a beautiful picture. You can paint the picture of your life, and that starts with our thoughts, and then that leads to our feelings, how we feel about these thoughts, and then that plays out in our actions and our decision making. So, business people have to really understand that now more than ever, you have so many more people getting into business, but they're getting into business with a survival mindset, right? And just an employee mindset instead of a creative mindset. Create your reality, create situations. When negative things come about in your business, just get creative. That's always get creative.
Because you can.
Yes.
But we don't realize it. And you illustrated it beautifully. Wonderful talk. This is the best thing we could ever talk about on the beginning of the new year.
Yes, exactly.
Martin, how do we engage you? Somebody's got questions. Maybe they have dreams. Maybe they're starting to create something but need a little push. Yeah. How do they find you?
Yeah, the best way on all social media platforms, Masternomics, and you can email masternomics1@gmail.com. We're on Facebook a lot. Definitely like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Email is the best way. I do multiple things, so I don't have a direct number that I give out because I still have other businesses that I'm doing. But definitely reach out. We can help in every aspect of people in business or starting a business. Masternomics, that's the movement.
Awesome. And the reason why you have other business and things going on?
Because you should have multiple streams of income to be prepared when outside events happen. Always be in creative mode.
There you go.
Yes.
Because you created them.
Yes,
because out of necessity, and I'm doing the same thing. I've got two things floating out there, that I'm looking at that I need to move forward. Final thought, we're out of time. Want to throw it to you. Brand new year. Forget the resolutions. What is your word of the year? The word that you're going to pilot by. You're going to put it on Post-it notes around you. This is the word, and maybe to help you think back what 2024's word could have been, or would have been, should have been, and what 25's is. Anything come to mind for you?
Internal power. That was the first thought that just came to me. Internal power. I have the power inside of me to do whatever I want to do.
And that rides on creation.
Yes.
And I thought about this. My word for 24, and I just started doing this, would have been discovery. Discovered a lot about me and others. It was, it was a good discovery year. This year, the word that comes to me is execution. It's those things that are floating out there. Just got to go. Move it. Move it forward.
Yes.
Awesome talking with you today.
Hey, I appreciate it. Love talking with you. And till we meet again.
Let's create.
Let's create.
All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.